It's time to be Tuesday. Alright, I'm cheating on this one. Hello, welcome to the new filming location for now. I think now I have better light bulbs in the kitchen. This is going to be a better way to film. So here we are. So this is kind of cheating, but I do have a request for something to do, but I didn't want to do that today. So maybe next week. But I decided it'd be easy for me to do this ranking. About a month ago, I decided to do a whole weekend of movies from Tubi that's on Tubi Horror Weekend, which I am planning on possibly doing a sequel to. Who knows? But now that I'm doing Tubi Tuesday, I don't know if I could do other movies than just horror, but it was fun. There's a couple I had seen before, finding some new ones. So I decided, I haven't ranked these yet, the ones that I did for Tubi Horror Weekend. So today for Tubi Tuesday, we're going to rank Tubi Horror Weekend. There's 10 movies, 10 all the way down to 1. And number 10 is Fever Lake. This was the movie with Corey Haim and Mario Lopez, and it's just, I've seen this movie now about 3 or 4 times, and I still have no idea what happens. Like, the kids, they go to a lake, something happens. There's a Native American and the sheriff, and one of the girls is a witch. Maybe she's possessed, but that Corey Haim was the kid from the beginning of the film, and the guy that looks like Josh Brolin but can't be Josh Brolin. It's just confusing, and every time I try to watch this, I'm like, okay, now I'm going to pay attention. I'm going to figure out what's going on. I pay attention. I still don't know what's going on. And that's why I thought, hey, this time I'm going to do a review. Maybe now I can make it coherent. I can, pay attention. I can figure out what's going on. So for me, it gets number 10 because it's just the worst one that I saw that weekend. It's just, no. Number 9 is The Final. Now, I know my friend Eric really actually likes this film, but for me, it comes up short. And that is due to the fact that the plan that these kids come up with, like, specifically, I'm going to call him Derek because I don't remember his character's name, but it's that main character. They've been bullied, so their big plan is to torture the hell out of these people. And I get, firing back, making it equal. But doing this, you're putting goop on people's face, it's going to melt them, or knocking teeth out, it goes too far. And when even your own friends turn against you and say, hey, this isn't cool, and end up killing you, and then walk away from the situation, I don't know, it just doesn't work for me. It's an enjoyable film to a point, but once Derek gets too far, that's when it's like, okay, I've had enough. I'm probably never going to watch this again, but it's easier to follow than Fever Lake, so. Number 8 is Intruder, and this will probably be up more, because I actually kind of liked this movie, but what kills it, what puts it down this low, is the ending. Both of the survivors get arrested, even though it doesn't make any sense. Yes, for one of them it makes sense, but then the girl who's being stalked by this guy is also somehow involved, even though they were at each other's throats earlier on in the film. It makes no sense. But the kills are good. There's some decent kills. There's some decent, And the reveal of the killer is just like, oh, Bill has been gone the entire movie, and now he's back, and oh, he's the killer. Because it's obvious, because he hasn't been on screen for the entire length of the film for a certain point. And he's the most obvious one because he was his partner. And when they make the announcement that they're going to close up, you can see from Bill's face he's not happy. So it's very obvious who the killer was. And it's just, a meh ending. Number 7 is Pieces, and this is another slasher film. and it's better. There's some dubbing problems, and there's a bending knife that's cardboard. But overall, I enjoyed this film. There's some decent gore. The plot... the plot about this guy making a human jigsaw puzzle with human body parts, is pretty cool. But there's no suspense on who it is. You know it's this kid. You just don't know, like, who it could be. But then the headmaster or principal, whatever, starts to act really suspicious, and then it's him. So, and there's some hammy acting that kind of brings it down. You bastard! It's just, but it is some good gory fun. Number 6 is The Stuff, and this is 80s schlock, throwback to 50s schlock. And, you got Michael Moriarty in a good role as this guy trying to figure out what's going on and what the stuff is. But I just don't believe, like you have to have an idea that, okay, how do they come across this stuff? It's just on the ground. We think it comes from outer space, but we don't know. And, hey, that's some good stuff. You're just going to take it off the ground and put it in your mouth and say, oh, hey, let's sell this stuff. And then all of a sudden, you're, like, hypnotized by this stuff. And it's a invasion of the body snatchers type deal thing, I think, where they're going to take over the world. But it's very vague in that, if turn off your brain, enjoy a little schlock, fine. But for the context of this list, it doesn't do it for me. It doesn't reach the top 5. It's just, It's just schlock for the sake of being schlock. And that doesn't, put it up for me. Number 5 is the Slumber Party Massacre. And this is where you get some, I think, 3 of my top 5 are slashers. So it shows you where my head is. But I think this is a fun slasher with this driller killer. There's no, unlike the third film, which is terrible, there's no mystery. This guy, he escapes from prison or something, and he's killing people, drilling, and there's some good gore with that. There's some good, gags with when they open the door and there's a dead body and they shoot, a couple times. That's funny. But then there's a scene where they just stay on this dead body and zoom in on it. We get it. We saw it. We know it's there. You can be subtle about it, but you got to zoom in and stay on it. No, it doesn't work. And it is a pretty decent slasher to me. I do recommend this. All 5 of these in the top 5, I actually recommend. If you want a good slasher, watch the Slumber Party Massacre. Number 4 is 13 Ghosts. And I know some people think this is not such a good movie, but I think it's pretty good. Mac Dillon's on par. I think Tony Shalhoub is really good. The plot's a little meh when you think about it. Like, okay, he has 12 ghosts. It's called 13 Ghosts. But the 13th ghost doesn't exist because the guy has to sacrifice himself to become the 13th ghost. But then why is the movie called 13 Ghosts if there's never actually 13 ghosts? You think about it too much, you're going to give yourself a headache. Or you're going to, why is it 13 Ghosts? Oh no, I've gone cross-eyed. Like Austin Powers. But yeah, it's fun. It's a fun movie. You get this one female ghost that's tits out the entire movie. That's fun. Not for people trying to make YouTube videos on it. They have to blur things, but it's fun. It's a fun movie, I think. I do recommend if you want a nice little movie. Like I said, Matthew Lillard's good. Tony Shalhoub is really good in this. I think it's a good film. Number 3 is Frailty. And this is the one, if I'm going to pick out of this, to recommend, even though it's not number 1. But Bill Paxton wrote, directed, and starred in this film. And he does a fantastic job as this father whose belief in God urges him to hunt down people he believes are possessed by demons to do what he believes is God's work. And it's a fantastic premise. And the twist, which I won't give away, watch the movie, I won't give away the twist, but the twist in the end is fantastic. You don't see it coming, but it's fantastic. It's just a fantastic film overall. Number 2 is the Slumber Party Massacre 2. This one gets a little step up. I know you say, wait a minute, you marked down Intruder because of the ending, and the ending of this is balls to the walls. Yeah, but it's insane, you know? And I'm not going to give away the end. Well, I gave away the ending for Intruder, but these top 5, I'm not going to give away the ending. So, I kind of did with it and goes. But anyway, I'll just give away the ending. So, the fact that she wakes up and it's a dream, but then her boyfriend turns out to be this driller killer. And then she wakes up again and she's in a mental institution, which her sister was supposed to be, and the drill goes through. It's hard to figure out what the hell's actually going on in this movie, but to get before that ending happens, there's so much fun and a musical sequence. It's just fantastic. It is absolutely fantastic. This is the best out of the 3, which I haven't actually seen the third one, but I heard people call it other shit, so I'm not on my hopes up. This movie is absolutely fantastic. Number 1. A slasher classic that unrightfully never got a sequel. The Burning. Tom Savini doing the gore. Fantastic direction. A good kind of plot with the killer. It's pretty good. It's probably one of the best slashers I've ever seen. If I had to put top 10 best slashers, this would be number 2. Only to Friday the 13th Part 4, the final chapter. It is probably number 2 because it is fantastic. You got good gore from Tom Savini. The plot's not too bad. Yes, this was in a time when everything was coming out of a slasher idea, camp slasher. This was basically trying to copy Friday the 13th. Even had Tom Savini doing the kills, but it was still fantastic. I think it had enough of an original idea. And you can say that Cropsey could be Jason in a way. He's even got a bag hat on, because when we see Jason for the first time, he had a bag hat. You can say there's some kind of rip-off there because he didn't come back to do Part 2 because he was doing The Burning. But hey, Friday the 13th Part 2 was still a solid film, and so was this film, and it's number 1 because, like I said, there's some good kills. The raft scene alone makes this thing number 1 for me. Yes, there are some characters that are introduced as main characters that just kind of are killed in the raft scene, like Fisher Stevens, who I thought was going to be one of the main. He could have his own death scene and not to be part of that raft, but it's pretty good, and it has upcoming stars like Jason Alexander and Fisher Stevens. Holly Hunter has a cameo. This is number 1. It's number 1, and it has to be. So there you go. I've ranked my Tubi Horror Weekend, and that's it for Tubi Tuesday. I know it's kind of a cheap one to do, but it was easy for me, so there you go. So what are your thoughts on my ranking? Let me know in the comments below. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I've been Scotty, and I'll see you in the next one.